you're going to see my woo side come out hard right now. And honestly, I am so excited about it. Y'all, I need to talk to you today about something absolutely freaking wild. Okay, my friend introduced me to astrocartography yesterday, and my mind is absolutely blown. Like at first I was like, oh my gosh, okay, cute, love this, right? Because we all know I got a lot of woo in me. But then we actually looked at the chart and I am baffled. I have been absolutely obsessed for the last 2 days about all things astrocartography, and I've been sending it to all of my friends because I am so obsessed. Because literally, all you do for this chart and for this reading is put in your birth date, your time of birth, and where you were born. So the same thing that you would put into like human design to figure out your human design chart, same thing that we're putting in here into astrocartography. And if you listen to any of my previous podcasts, you know I'm also obsessed with human design because I feel like when I first did my human design reading, I felt so seen. And now I feel like there's this whole other layer of seenness, especially because I love travel and I love like the different vibes and feels that I get from different places. And it's crazy because this chart just confirmed all of the things that I intuitively felt to be true, but didn't know why. Okay, first, what the heck even is astrocartography? So astrocartography, also known as locational astrology, is a system that maps your birth chart against a world map and then identifies places that you resonate with and specific aspects of your life and personality based on those locations and how it like matches up with your chart. Now, you may be like, okay, you've lost me. I just want to say, like, no, this isn't your like regular horoscopes, the stuff that you find in like teen magazines or on the internet. Like regular horoscopes, those are like mainstream pop astrology. I wouldn't even honestly call it astrology, but essentially it was created to make like astrology more digestible for the everyday human being. But if you start to actually dig into real astrology and the way that the planets align and how it's affecting you and how it's affecting the world and the people around you, you start to see so many real patterns, and it's insane. And really is just a reminder that there really is just like a bigger thing out there in the world, the bigger being. I call it universe. You can call it whatever the heck you want. But I always say the universe is doing its thing, right? There really is a higher force out there that we cannot explain, or we're, trying to learn how to explain. And I feel like now astrology is becoming a lot more mainstream. There's a lot more resources out there, but it really is. There are so many different parts of it that are so real and so valid. And I can't wait to tell you about my astrocartography chart because I feel like it's just explained so much about my life. Okay, so now how did this even come about? How did astrocartography, of all things, which I'd literally never heard about until 2 days ago, how did that come about? So I was hanging out at a bar with one of my really good friends, Marissa, and we just started talking about life and everything and how I've kind of been on a very big personal development journey, and just in general, entrepreneurship forces you into a very big personal development and personal growth journey. And I've become a lot more woo-woo since I have gone the entrepreneurship route. But I also know not everyone gets the woo. And so I'm very careful about who I even bring that up to, even though I also like put it on the internet for everyone to hear.
Okay, y'all, do I have something exciting for you? Now, I just came out with a brand new free training on exactly how you, yes, you can get started investing in real estate within the next 3 months. Because if you're someone who wants more freedom in your life, the ability to travel the world and do the things that you actually want to do in life, you're going to want to listen up. Trust me. Now, this training is freaking awesome. I literally go in and spill the tea on the number one strategy that is working right now, like literally today in today's market. And I go over how to look at deals and make sure that they actually cash flow, and how to set your properties up so that you can run them from anywhere in the world. Like I literally have managed my properties from over 6 different time zones. So if you are stuck in analysis paralysis, you don't know where to start when it comes to real estate investing, but you know that it's something that you want to do in the future, this training is going to be for you. So to check it out, click the link in the show notes or DM me the word hack, like HACK on Instagram, and I will send you the link. Now let's dive back into the show.
And she actually, I think, brought up human design, and she was like, oh, you're definitely a manifesting generator, which I am. I am a manifesting generator to the T. We're not going to go into that. If you want to know more about human design, look it up online. I think ahumandesign.com is a great place where you can go and actually find your chart. But then she randomly brought up astrocartography because I was talking about the fact how I just love Italy so much. Even when I think about where I want to buy my next property, where I want to build my like real estate empire and start building my real estate empire and get boutique hotels, boutique hostels there. I want to do that in Italy. I've been very vocal about it. I tell everyone that I meet about it. Like, it is just a part of my big dreams, my big goals, my big visions. If you come to my house, I've got Italy pictures everywhere. It's on my manifestation list. Like, it's just there. I don't know what it is, but well, now I do know what it is. But I love Italy so much. And every time I go there, I'm like a crazy person. It just feels right. It feels good. It feels amazing. I feel like my best self there. And it's like mainly in like central northern Italy. I just vibe with that area so much. And then I kid you not, because we love doing some fun things at the bar, right? And also I'm like drinking mocktails at this bar because I currently have a stomach ulcer and cannot consume like anything except for tea, which is what I'm consuming now. And then I kid you not, she pulls up my chart and one of my main lines goes directly through Italy, through my favorite parts of Italy. And I'm just like, holy crap, what the actual F? Like, this line literally goes through Florence, Tuscany. There's a part that's like near Lake Como and Bologna and Pisa. And I'm like, what in the actual? Because what that also did is it confirmed to me just why I am so obsessed with Italy. Like, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people like Italy, right? Like, everyone loves Italy. How can you not love Italy? It's beautiful. It's amazing. But I have this like weird, crazy obsession with Italy. Like, I have multiple Italy pictures around my house right now in Denver. But like, this astrocartography chart, and this is why I also love human design, it just helps explain why things are the way they are. And also just makes you realize that things aren't random. Feelings aren't random. When you're feeling something or there's that intuition that we have inside of us, that's not random. There's a reason for it. Like, we literally were put on this planet to experience that. Okay, first off though, Italy, right? I have been obsessed with Italy since I went at 7 years old as a little girl. My mom took me and my brother and we went to go visit some family members there. And I remember I just was so obsessed. I loved Italy so much. I loved everything about it, the vibes, the energy. Honestly, I don't even remember that trip. I was 7 years old. So I like have very vague memories of that trip. I know I have pictures from there and that's like my memories, but I knew I loved it. And then for years after that, I refused to go back to Italy because I knew how much I loved it and I knew I'd be obsessed with it. I don't know what it was, but internally I just had this knowing that like Italy was endgame. Like, Italy was it. Italy was somewhere where I knew I had to go back many, many, many times. Also understand, like, I traveled to 56 countries now, 56 countries. I'm very much a nomad. Like, I move around. I love visiting new places. Most places, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Like, I really enjoy places a lot. But most places, I'm like, cool, visited. Probably don't have to go back. Maybe if I do go back, it's because someone else wants to go, but I'm not like craving going back. But Italy, every single time I leave, I want to go back. Like, every year, I'm like, I must go to Italy. And guess what? So my sun line, which is one of the lines on the astrocartography charts, goes directly through my favorite part of Italy. Now, the sun ascendant line, this is where your personal power shines, according to the astrocartography chart. So what does that actually mean? So in that specific place, wherever your sun line goes through, that's the place where you feel the most seen, the most confident. That's where you most authentically are you. You also attract people and opportunities there, and it's a place that energizes you and aligns you with your biggest goals. You're usually the most magnetic and the most confident, and you find yourself inspiring others and truly just coming into your own. And it's honestly just a great place also for manifestation and a stronger sense of purpose. And I'm like, excuse me, what? Me in Italy? Like, I tell you, when I'm in Italy, I feel like I am shining. The air, the pasta, the everything. I'm like, yes, I need to be here. And seriously, it's crazy because it tracks too, because a lot of the big things that I've done in life have come after a trip to Italy. So for example, in 2022, I literally remember the moment where I decided I needed to quit my job and like have a new career path. I was sitting on a boat in Lake Como, and this was after a really grueling time at my work in New Orleans. I was just like, I just need a break, went to Italy. And I remember sitting there in the middle of the lake, looking at everything and being like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I working this engineering job? I know I don't want to do this long term. This is not what my life needs to look like. This, as in Italy, like, Como, beautifulness, this is what my life needs to look like. And that was the first time I had really like decided for myself that year I was going to quit my job. And then the next year in 2023, I went back to Italy, of course, because I love Italy. I had actually taken a trip to Italy with my friends. We had a great time. It was beautiful, freaking loved it. But I also decided on that trip that when I got back to the US, I was going to stop drinking and just go all in on my course and my coaching program and launch that. Like there was just like a fire inside of me. After that trip, I was like, nope, I need to get home and I need to get this done. And so it's crazy because those are two really big, pivotal, monumental moments of my life that I look back on, and they all like came from being in Italy. And then I unfortunately did not go back to Italy in 2024. And y'all, I was so upset. Like all of last year, I was so upset that I couldn't make an Italy trip work, which is why right away when my friend was telling me she was hosting this retreat in Italy, I signed up, put the deposit in. I was like, yes, I will come to Italy. So now I'm going back later this year. I'm so excited. And it's just even more incredible because it's all aligning with the astrocartography graph. Now, obviously, Italy isn't the only place that is on my sun line. There are actually a few other places as well. For example, Vienna in Austria, which I absolutely love. I only spent 2 days in Vienna and I was like, yes, this is my vibe. This is my energy. I felt so good there. That's another place that's actually on my sun line. The same thing with Prague in the Czech Republic. I loved Prague. It is so freaking amazing. And then also really random one, but Krakow in Poland, I also really, really enjoyed. Like most of Poland, I actually did not like love. I didn't hate by any means, but I didn't love it. But Krakow, I really, really liked.
If you've been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely love fashion. Like I am always in bright, colorful clothes. I'm just a bright and colorful human. Even right now, I'm wearing a fabulous green dress, if you can see me on YouTube. But I also just go to a ton of different conferences and retreats and events, and I'm always wearing something different. And everyone always asks me, Olivia, where do you get your clothes from? Now, this isn't some Instagram influencer thing where it's like, oh yeah, everyone asks me. No, actually, everyone does ask me where I get all of my clothes from. And the funny thing is, I actually got rid of half of my closet years ago whenever I started nomading because I just hate clutter and don't want a ton of stuff. And I'm just not like a stuff girl. And 80% of the time, I'm actually wearing rented clothes from Nuuly. Yes, this fabulous green dress that I'm wearing right now is from Nuuly. I know, I don't actually buy clothes like ever, really. I mainly rent. And that's because, number one, I get bored of clothes easily and I like to change my clothes all the time. That's why I am legitimately always in a new dress. Number two is I hate clutter. Like I just hate having a crazy full closet where I can't find anything and it's just such a mess. And then number three, I am always traveling. And sometimes it's hard to pack a bunch of different stuff and clothes. And I like to travel light. I also take a lot of pictures of myself. So I like to be in different outfits. And sometimes I even get the rental sent to wherever I'm traveling to. That way I don't even have to pack it with me. And this way I just get to wear way nicer clothing than I usually buy. Like literally over the last 3 years, I have rented over $150,000 worth of clothes, but I've spent less than a tenth of that actually on clothing. And that's why I absolutely love Nuuly, because they have so many different things, so many fun items. I love that they have really fabulous brands like Farm Rio and sometimes even McDougall, which is a luxury brand. I've rented $1,000 dresses from them for the same price as my membership. And it's great because they have super classic items, but they also have fun staples in there too.
because you can rent everything from dresses to coats to everyday outfits like jeans. Now, you're actually in luck right now because I have a special link where you can actually try a Nuuly subscription and get $30 off of your first month subscription. So use the link in the show notes below to try Nuuly out, or go in and type oliviatati.com/Nuuly. That's Nuuly. And I have a discount code in there. Go ahead, try it out. Let me know how you like it. It has been a total game changer for me to level up my wardrobe. So go check out Nuuly. Remember, oliviatati.com/Nuuly, or go use the link in my show notes. And then also near Barcelona and the parts of Spain as well, which makes sense because I love going to Spain and I feel right at home there. However, I feel the most at home in Italy, and it's because my line literally goes directly through there, especially northern Italy. And I feel way more at home in like central northern Italy, like around Florence area, like Como area, Milan, all of that, than I do in like southern Italy. And Cape Town in South Africa is another place that I went to, and I was like, oh yeah, I could live here. Once again, I've been to so many places. Most places, I honestly don't have a strong desire to go and live there. I love visiting, but like there are few places on this world, on this planet, that I'm actually like, yes, love me to live there. And Cape Town's like another one where I would 100% buy property there, invest in real estate there, and like have something happening over there. Now, the reason that Italy is also so much stronger than the other ones is because I actually have multiple other lines going through Italy, which is through the same part of Italy, which is also just absolutely crazy. And I'm like, gosh, this makes so much sense. So through Italy, I have my Venus ascendant line and my Venus midhaven line that goes through there. And then so do my Jupiter ascendant lines and Jupiter midhaven lines. Now, you might be like, what the heck is that? And trust me, I was also like, what the heck is that? So let's break it down for you. Now, your Venus lines, and if you know anything about astrology, you know that Venus is the planet of love, right? So Venus lines have romantic influences, and the ascendant is regions where you may experience enhanced attractiveness, social harmony, romantic opportunities, and then the midhaven line is a sense of beauty, art, and social connection. Whereas Jupiter, the Jupiter lines are financial and growth influences. Now, your Jupiter ascendant line, that is where you feel more optimistic and confident about new opportunities. And Jupiter's midhaven line is where your career and public life may actually flourish. And so the crazy part is that these lines also go through not just anywhere in Italy, it's through Florence, Milan, Bologna, which are all places, like these are like my favorite parts of Italy, 100%. And they're all like attached to an outdoor area like Lake Como or like Tuscany that I'm 100% obsessed with. I'm like, of course, this makes sense. Well, it's so funny because I went to like the Puglia region, not last year, but the year before that. I loved it. It's so beautiful, but I didn't have that same calling. I enjoyed it and I would go visit for a little bit. But when I think about, okay, where do I want to buy property and where do I want to really create something? It's like in that more central northern region. But then it's so interesting because my Mars and Moon lines, they go through Rome. Now, Mars is passion and ambition, and Moon is emotional and fulfillment, which is also so fascinating because when I did go on a 3-month trip to Portugal, I really, really enjoyed my time there. Like literally, I talk about that trip a lot. It was transformational, but it was so interesting because I went there, I loved it, but it felt a little off. Like something didn't feel quite right. I even started looking at property opportunities there and all of that. But for me, like for my own personal place that I wanted to buy or build my business, it just didn't feel right. And I didn't know exactly why. And I thought I was being a little bit crazy. But it was so funny because then I took a trip to Italy right after I landed in Rome. And the second I landed in Rome, I just felt good. Like I felt so good. I felt so at home and at peace and energized and ready to go, which was like different than how I was feeling in Portugal. It was like a very similar feeling that I had when I was in Florence and Milan and like Como and Tuscany, but like slightly different. Like there was like a bit of a different energy to it. And turns out the reason I felt that way when I was in Portugal is that Portugal and even parts of Spain, they're both relatively close to my sun line, right? In terms of like that sun line goes mainly directly through Italy, with Portugal and Spain kind of being close enough but not quite there, which is why more eastern parts of Spain, like Barcelona, feel really, really good and energizing to me because it's like closer to Italy. But whenever I'm like almost there but not quite there, that's exactly how it feels. That's why Portugal felt like almost there but not quite there. It's like I'm stepping into my power, but not 100%. And it's because it was kind of on the peripheries of this sun line. And then another thing, sorry, backtracking a little, but about the Venus midheaven. So that line is like the line of love and romance and all of that. It passes through like central northern Italy, like through Florence and Pisa. And that means I can have enhanced experiences in those places related to romance or aesthetics and appreciation. So part of me, I always joke about the fact that I need to find myself an Italian husband. And like I joke about it, but I don't joke about it. But part of me just has this feeling I'm either going to meet my person in Italy or find an Italian man. I don't know. But it's like the universe is literally saying so. And not, obviously, the thing about these things like astrocartography charts and astrology in general, like at the end of the day, you still have full power over what happens in your life. But what it's just doing is tapping into like why you feel certain ways about something. And so like if I meet someone who's not Italian and they end up being the love of my life, amazing. I'm not going to be like, well, you're not Italian, so I cannot be with you. No, obviously not. However, I love having this guidance from the universe, and it just makes me so much more confident in terms of like tapping back into my intuition and what I know to feel right, what I know to be right for myself, right? And honestly, I just find all of this to be so freaking fascinating. But honestly, it gets even crazier, okay? And I know half of you have probably already lost me by now, but I don't care. We're going into it. So, as y'all know, I moved back to Denver, Colorado almost a year ago now, which is crazy. And this was after years of traveling and being nomadic. I still travel quite a bit, but I was just feeling this strong need and desire to have a home base somewhere where I could call home, I could come back to. New Orleans just didn't quite feel like it. And I also really wanted somewhere where I could sit down and focus and really just like focus on building my business. For the last like 30 years, basically, I've been a little bit chaotic in the best way possible. I've traveled, I've explored. I've also been very selfish for myself, which is something I've loved and needed for myself. So I've been young, single, freewheeling, just traveling, doing my own thing, and it's been amazing. But a lot of that has also led me to avoid responsibility to a certain degree. And now I feel like I'm stepping into that role, both in my business and my personal life, to like be a provider and to really like build stable roots that are going to be long lasting for the rest of my future. And so you kind of seen me do that with real estate investing, buying my house here in Colorado, which I knew from the beginning was going to be a very long-term investment. And it's so funny too, because even though I've been nomadic for so long, I usually honestly don't get attached to locations. Like I was saying before, most places that I go to, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I probably won't come back again. Even when I moved here to Colorado, though, I did not expect to feel like home here. I cried when I left Colorado. That does not happen. I literally felt like a part of my soul was being ripped out. And it was so crazy because the year before I moved to Colorado, my brother, who's super into astrology, he told me, Olivia, next year you're going home. And I was just like, what does that mean? That's a little weird. And lo and behold, I felt this like desire and pull to move to Colorado. So I did. But now, on top of that, my astrocartography chart literally confirmed why, okay? Because my moon IC line passes super close to Denver, and so does my Saturn MC line. Now, once again, you're probably like, what the heck does that mean? So the moon IC line is emotional foundation. So deep emotional roots, your innermost feelings. It can evoke a strong sense of home and belonging. It's also a nurturing environment, a heightened need for security and comfort-seeking environments that provide emotional warmth, familiarity, and inner reflection. Now, that is literally me here in Denver. Part of why I moved back was I just knew like I wanted to be around home. I wanted home to feel like home, and I wanted to be around people who felt really familiar. I have a lot of really amazing friends here who've been my friends for years and years, right? Like they've been my friends since my grad school days. And they're like core people in my life, in my community. They will like 100% be at my wedding kind of thing. Whereas like some other friends, like in different parts of life, they're kind of more passing, right? But here, like in Denver, I just like knew I had this pull for like groundedness and familiarity. And I've been doing like so much more introspection here than I have anywhere else in the world, especially over the last few months. So obviously it makes sense that my moon IC line would pass really close to Denver. Like I think it's literally like 10 or 15 kilometers, like something crazy. And then my Saturn MC line is also near Denver, and the Saturn MC implies career and ambition. So it's a heightened sense of duty, ambition, which leads to significant personal growth, which once again, I feel this so hard. Literally part of why I moved here to Denver is I wanted to be around other ambitious entrepreneurs. I have a lot of entrepreneurial friends here, which is amazing, who are doing even way, way, way better than I am. And I want you to have both that feeling of home, but also ambition and career. And a lot of what I'm doing right now, just in my life, is really planting the seeds for longevity in my business, in my life, in terms of financial security, providing for others and providing for myself, of course. But I also find this bigger duty to serve the world more. And this has all been created while being here in Colorado. And it's crazy because I couldn't have made this stuff up. Literally, I'd already kind of come to this conclusion for myself just based off of the intuition and following my gut instincts, right? But the universe has already planned this out for me. But so yeah, I could literally go on about this forever and ever because I'm so obsessed and I've done such a deep dive into so many different places in my life and how that's affected me. And I'm like, this is absolutely insane and crazy. There's stuff about New Orleans that's on my astrocartography chart where it's like New Orleans doesn't really quite feel like home, but it does feel like it's connected to me and my mission. And there's a lot of things about that in there. But then there's also things about Mexico in there, which is amazing because whenever I go to Mexico, I feel like I have this spunk and adventurous energy. And I'm supposed to have that whenever I'm in Mexico, not necessarily there to build anything long lasting, but more so to shake things up and be spontaneous and be adventurous, which is exactly what I am and how I feel whenever I'm in Mexico. Now, obviously, you might be thinking this is a little woo-woo, blah, blah. I don't really care. Honestly, I love this stuff. And I think when you're able to create meaning, sometimes it's we get so caught up in us having to figure out our lives, but knowing that there really is something else out there controlling the show to an extent, right? Is kind of amazing and kind of beautiful. And it allows you to surrender a little to the universe and let the universe show you where to go, what to do. It doesn't always every single tiny decision doesn't have to be on you because we are always constantly co-creating with the universe and everything is happening on its divine timing in its divine way. And it's such a beautiful freaking thing because literally after reading that chart, I was like, how did the stars know? Okay. How did the stars know that Denver was my place for me to build and Italy is where I go to transform and be me? What? And now that I know this, I just feel so much more aligned with the decisions that I've been making, right? I've always known that I need to buy a place in Italy eventually, as crazy as it sounds. And most people I know don't have this desire, but I do. And there's a reason behind it. And I'm honestly not crazy for having all this Italy stuff this late Como artwork right behind me in my house. So go ahead and check your astrocartography chart. If you go on, I believe it's astro.com or just Google astrocartography chart, you'll pull it up. You're going to put in your name, your name doesn't really matter, but your date of birth, the time you were born and where you were born. Look up your astrocartography chart. It's going to look crazy. You're going to be like, I don't understand what this says and what this means, and that's okay. All you want to do now is take that to ChatGPT and have it distill it for you. Literally go in and ask it, hey, ChatGPT, I just pulled my astrocartography chart and I don't know what it means. Can you tell me what it means? Where does my sun AS line go through? What does that mean? It's going to spit a bunch of stuff out for you and make sure to actually give it your birth date, where you were born, and the location you were born. Once it spits that out for you, just go back and double check that it's actually pulling the same thing that your chart is saying, because sometimes ChatGPT will just go and look at generic stuff on the internet, but you want to make sure that it's actually using your date of birth and your time and your location to pull up the right things. But if you thought this was fabulous, let me know. DM me on Instagram. I want to know what you found out about your astrocartography reading. Truly, this has been so incredible. I've been just really deep diving into it with ChatGPT. And I know this podcast didn't really have much to do with real estate, but it also had everything to do with real estate. Like, there's a reason why I'm a lifestyle investor. There's a reason why I invest in the locations I do. I try not to just buy places in random places. Like, whenever anyone asks me, where should I go buy a real estate investment property? I'm like, where do you want to buy a real estate investment property? Because you are going to feel so much more connected. You're going to take care of that property so much better if you care about the location versus if you try and buy something just somewhere random for money. So maybe I should actually start telling people that. Whenever they tell me, oh, where should I buy a real estate property? I'm like, go pull up your astrocartography reading and pick a place based off of that. Okay, that is all for today. I hope you liked this episode. Make sure to leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Screenshot it, send it to me on Instagram, or email me, and I will actually send you a free gift, okay? Bye, fam. Thank you so much for listening to Wanderlust Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.